Okay, sorry about all the noise in the last video. I'm an idiot, and for some ungodly reason I figured that, oh, this will be great, I'll just show this thing running the whole time and it'll be great, the voice will be strong. And what ended up happening is all you could hear was the tumbler. That's okay. This is post seal and cap removal. I didn't pour anything out yet. I wanted you to see the color of the water just the same time I did. Let's see here. It's not so bad. Now this is without stainless steel pins, so I don't know how well they came out. Oh, you know what? These really actually came out fairly clean. Let me, I'm going to do this. I'm going to just kind of strain it with my hand. Oh yeah, actually the water is fairly dark. I'll rinse this out a few times, but I got to tell you, just at first glance, I can't really see inside of this brass very well here. Oh, this thing isn't going to focus, but just at first glance, this looks pretty good. So this is just a short thing. That's all. This wasn't extremely dirty brass to begin with. Keep in mind, this was once shot for the 223. And as you can see, that's beautiful. I don't know what it looks like on the inside. The primer pockets are dirty. But this is with no media. And 9mm. Really, I'd be perfectly happy to reload this just the way it is. Nice and clean. All the noise. This is nice and clean, as you can see. So we're just going to give it a rinse. All of that lemon shine and soap off of there, and I'll spread it out on some towels, and we'll take some pictures and post them up along with this video. The way these work, you have a lid. Let me show you this. You would take this off. Okay, and this lid is a rubber seal that kind of wraps around this piece of fairly thick, some kind of sheet metal. And I don't know whether you can see it, but there's a lip. You can actually see it right around here, where the light's reflecting. There's a lip in there, and this sits right up against the shoulder of that lip. It just goes down in there and stops. And then the lid is sheet metal, and you can see it's got a little bit of a taper to it. And what that does is you place this down to that shoulder, and that puts it probably about 1/8 of an inch below the surface of this. And this is rubber. Okay, this container is flexible. See? It's made of rubber or rubberized plastic of some kind. And put it down there, and you put this tapered lid on there, and that pushes the top of this thing closed, and then you add the washer. Okay. And this is just a threaded cap, and that threads onto this, and as it pulls that up, it pulls it into that cone, and it tightens the seal. It seals it up completely so nothing leaks out. So just in case you're wondering how this works, that's what this is. And it's basically just a watertight container that this stuff rolls around in, and just tumbles it. And It's like a front loader washing machine. Get your clothes clean. Well, this does the same thing. It tumbles it around. Now with the stainless steel media, will clean out the inside of the brass quite a bit more, because it'll be in there, agitating and physically kind of bumping up against the dirt, and it will bump up against the pockets, primer pockets, which you can see it's still fairly dirty from what I can see. Now, you look at it in the light, it's not too bad. I probably wouldn't hesitate to reload this, but normally on a rifle brass, and this is, granted this is 223, it's not exactly rifle brass. I'm used to reloading stuff twice as long as this, but in rifle brass, I always have hand scraped out the primer pockets, and in some cases normalize the hole, the flash hole. When you look through brass, let's see if I can do this without wrecking. See, there's the primer hole, the flash hole. So when the primer goes off, it shoots, sparks into the powder and ignites the powder. Well, if you want absolute, if you want everything to be even, so you have accurate ammunition, accurate meaning once you ladder test and build your load, so that you're getting the most accuracy out of your rifle, you want every single thing to be the same. So you fire form your brass. Now, this may not apply for AR-15. Obviously, I'm not going to do that with this. It's AR-15 brass. Okay, it's 223, 5. This is 5.56. Same thing. 5.56 is higher pressure. But for shooting matches and trying to get the utmost accuracy out of your rifle brass, what you want to do is, in general, this isn't, I'm no expert, okay, I'm just some guy doing this. Okay, but my experience has been that you try to get everything equal every single time. So the thickness of the metal here, right here, you need to be absolutely certain that it's perfect. And then you fire form your brass, meaning you basically build this to fit your chamber by firing it. It blows it up, it's pressure inside, and it fits your chamber. For a bolt action gun, you wouldn't want this for something you would want to hunt with. You'd want this for something you're shooting a match with, okay? If you're hunting and you want absolute reliability, then you'd want a full length size your brass, so it's back to SAMI specs. But if you're trying to build accurate ammunition for a certain firearm, what I do is basically fire form it. I uniform that flash hole that I showed you by holding this up and trying to destroy this wonderful video by filming a bulb. But you want that hole to be absolutely uniform, so that every time the primer fires, it puts the exact same amount of force through the same exact size hole, exerting the same amount of sparks to ignite the same exact amount of powder in the same amount of volume, and with an equalized neck that you've neck sized to fit the bullet, with equal all the way around thickness of this shoulder, of this neck, the metal around the neck, so that you have the exact same tension on the bullet every single time, with the exact same length, the exact same jump to the grooves in the rifling, and so that every single time you do something with your finger and you break that sear and it fires, everything else that happens as far as this goes is the same. That's how you build accurate ammunition. But this is 9mm and some 9mm and 223. But I have to say, this is the cleanest I've ever seen my brass, ever. and I don't even have any stainless steel pins in here. And as I said in my last video, I will be using them. That's it. Time for rinsing, and I will give you some kind of an update once I perfect my powder coating and do a ladder test, and we'll see how accurate I can make them. This is mostly going to be used for 9mm, the powder coating of the projectiles, I should say. Wheel weight lead has dried up. Now that it has dried up, hi Noodles. Now that it has dried up, I'm running low. Here's about 50 pounds there, I think, maybe 30 pounds of wheel weight lead. And that's fairly hard lead, but the wheel weights, because of our federal government and state governments and the EPA and all this other bullshit, we have to save the condors because they chase cars and tear wheel weights right off the car while you're driving down the street to eat them, which is not true, by the way. The condors get lead by eating paint off of government buildings. The government is poisoning the condors with lead, and they're using it as an excuse to ban lead ammunition in California and to close all sorts of lead mines in the states and everything. Anyway, that's a whole nother political thing. This is but what I'm going to do is I'm going to be scavenging range lead. Range lead is quite a bit softer. Roto Metals makes something called super hard. It's an ingot. It's about a 5-pound ingot of high antimony and lead content. And the reason you want to buy it that way is because antimony takes an awful high temperature to melt and make an alloy that's hard. The antimony is what makes the lead hard. So does the tin to a certain extent. The tin is more to help it flow. But the range lead is very soft, and I would need a way to harden it. Wheel weight lead is fairly hard. Excuse the state of my house, it's very dirty. You hear that? That's hard. I'm not making dents in it. Oh, I am making dents in it, but it's a very hard alloy. You could literally machine it into something, and it would hold its shape fairly well. I will be washing this hand before I put it in my mouth and get lead poisoning. But the other advantage, there's advantages to powder coating. One, you don't touch lead when you're handling your ammunition. Obviously, when you're casting and making it, you have to be careful. But once that happens, now you've eliminated the lubrication side of things. You don't need to. And although I probably will not powder coat my 380 bullets because there is literally no smoke. I use a Lee Microgroove 95 grain bullet mold, and that's optimized for tumble lubing, I should say. And if you use a 45-45-10, which is basically 10% mineral spirits and 45 and 45% parts of basically equal parts of the Alox, which is a tumble lube made by Lee. There's other companies that make it, and Johnson Paste Wax. And the advantage of that is that it doesn't leave you a sticky projectile. It's dry to the touch, and that's nice. And it doesn't, because one helps the other stick. You end up with a better lubrication and basically no smoke. I have no smoke issues at the range when I'm using a 95 grain bullet out of my 380. Now my 9mm, on the other hand, I basically can't shoot cast. I can. I mean, if it's a windy day, it's not bad. They're accurate enough and everything. I can't push them super fast, And in my Springfield, I get some leading. I believe it's got polygonal rifling. Although it is a match grade barrel, and they say that lead is okay, I have found that the throat of the chamber tends to get leaded, and that's a problem unless I size my bullets slightly oversized, and that itself is a pain in the ass. So what I'm going to do is powder coat the bullets, and that is basically putting a jacket on there that you can pound these things flat and this stuff will not come off. You eliminate leading in the barrel, you eliminate leading in the chamber. You don't have to worry so much about cutting because you can size even if they cast at size, you can slightly oversize them with just a push through sizing die, and you're actually adding material when you put when you powder coat them, so it takes up a little bit more space. Anyway, this is getting very long-winded, and my intention was to show you how clean the brass was after just Tumble with soap and a little Lemmy Shine. No pins, no stainless steel media at all. I suspect the inside of this brass is perfectly clean enough for me. If it's not, I can always throw it in I haven't converted my tumbler, so I can certainly throw it in there with some media and clean it out, but I don't think I'm going to need to, and I can wait until I get the pins anyway. Anyway, this is that's the end of that, and signing off. Thanks for watching. Happy shooting.